Ever wonder where billionaires go to escape the spotlight? They're buying up massive chunks of America. We're talking ranches bigger than entire states. From media moguls to tech titans, these celebrities aren't just collecting acres. They're building empires that would make the old cattle barons jealous. Let's count down the 10 largest celebrity-owned farms and ranches on the planet. 10. Blake Shelton's 10-Point Ranch. Blake Shelton's ranch property is stunning with ponds, creeks, and a river that flows through his wooded lands. The 10-Point Ranch is just a 1-hour drive from his Lake Texoma house and 5 minutes from the small town of Tishomingo, Oklahoma. When you're one of country music's biggest stars, you need a place that matches your roots, and Shelton found it in Oklahoma. Blake Shelton's ranch, called the 10-Point Ranch, is more than 1,300 acres big and sits in rural Oklahoma, just 10 minutes from the small town Tishomingo. This isn't some Hollywood hobby farm, it's the real deal. This spectacular 1,382-acre sporting ranch is one of the best in Oklahoma, only 2.5 hours from Dallas, Texas, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This world-class ranch offers a spacious 2,150 square foot 4-bedroom, 2-bath barn dominium home, a 2-stall horse barn, and a 1,440 square foot metal implement shed. The ranch has over 30 acres of established plots for waterfowl hunting. We're talking serious hunting country here: deer, wild hogs, turkey, all roaming across those 1,300 acres. But here's what makes it special. Blake Shelton and his girlfriend, Gwen Stefani, continue to split their time between Oklahoma and Los Angeles, which seems to be working out just fine for the couple. Blake and Gwen made several improvements to the ranch property in 2020 to 2021 to support hosting their wedding. The couple hosted their wedding on the ranch on July 3rd, 2021. They added a chapel and a new home to the ranch. Blake is an avid outdoors man and enjoys hunting, fishing, planting crops, and riding horses. Blake even planted Gwen her very own wildflower patch, which Shelton prepared for her with his tractor. This is where Hollywood meets heartland, 1,300 acres of Oklahoma soil, where a country boy from Ada built his dream ranch, complete with its own chapel where he married a pop princess. It's proof that sometimes the best escapes aren't on tropical islands, they're on working ranches where you can drive your tractor through the creek and nobody cares if you're famous. 9. Harrison Ford's Wyoming Ranch. The actor, 82, lives a quiet life far away from the chaos of Hollywood in Wyoming, calling a massive ranch with over 800 acres of land home with wife Callista Flockhart. The man who brought Indiana Jones to life doesn't need Hollywood. He's got Jackson Hole. Ford purchased the property in the early 1980s with then-wife Melissa Matheson, married from 1983-2004, after his career took off thanks to his work in the Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises. I think we all get something set in our heads early on. And the first time I saw Jackson Hole, I said, this is the place that's been in my mind all the time. He told biographer Gary Jenkins. The house, located along the Snake River, has multiple bedrooms to host his family and friends and vast gardens surrounded by trees, which add an extra layer of privacy. But here's where Ford shows his true character. After buying the generously sized plot, Harrison ended up selling off a lot of the land to a nature reserve, which aims to protect natural wildlife and resources. When I'm up in Wyoming, I just walk out the door and keep walking, Ford told Parade in 2020, adding that he flies his family back and forth to the ranch himself since he's an experienced pilot. Well, if my chores are done and there's nothing more pressing and the weather's good, I'll go flying. I love to fly up there or walk in the woods, do some work, ride my road bike or mountain bike. This is real ranch living, 800 acres of Wyoming wilderness where Han Solo can just be Harrison, fixing fences and flying planes over the Snake River Valley. 8. Martha Stewart's Cantitoe Corners. When the queen of homemaking decides to buy a farm, you know it's going to be something extraordinary. Martha Stewart's Cantitoe Corners in Katona, New York, spans 153 meticulously maintained acres. This goes beyond typical farming. It's a living, breathing example of American agricultural perfection, maintained with the kind of attention to detail that only Martha Stewart could deliver. The property includes a 19th century farmhouse, expansive gardens, and stables for her beloved horses. These buildings have been standing since before the Civil War, restored to museum quality while still functioning as working farm structures. Stewart purchased the property in 2000 and has since transformed it into a showpiece of sustainable farming and classic design. The history here runs deep. The ranch's history dates back to the Revolutionary War era, with some original structures still standing. George Washington's troops might have marched past this land. That's the kind of American heritage you can't manufacture, except Martha acquired it and preserved every bit. Alongside grazing paddocks for her 5 Frisian horses seen here, the 153-acre farm also houses multiple cats and dogs, chinchillas, canaries, and parakeets. There are also donkeys, sheep, goats, chickens, geese, turkeys, guinea fowl, quail, peacocks, and homing pigeons. Stewart frequently shares anecdotes about life on the ranch through her blog and social media, from planting heirloom vegetables to raising peacocks. This is working agriculture meets living history, all wrapped up in 153 acres of Westchester County perfection. Every garden row is straight as an arrow, every fence post perfectly placed. It's farming as an art form, and nobody does it better than Martha. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thanks to all of you who do. 7. Drake's Dulce Recess Ranch. The rap god went full Texas with this purchase, and when Drake does something, he doesn't do it halfway. Drake's new 313-acre ranch called Dulce Recess Ranch includes several impressive residential and recreational structures. This is what happens when Toronto meets Texas, and the result is pure luxury, wrapped in ranch land. Outside of the housing compounds, Dulce Recess Ranch offers an abundance of amenities for recreation and leisure. These include an indoor-outdoor pool and spa, fully equipped gym and massage studio, skeet shooting range, stocked 8-acre lake and pond, expansive gardens and orchards, and a chicken coop. Forget your grandfather's ranch. This is 21st century ranching with every amenity you could imagine. Think about it, 313 acres of prime Texas real estate, where everything's bigger and better by default. The skeet shooting range alone probably costs more than most people's houses. That 8-acre lake isn't just for looking at, it's stocked with fish, ready for those early morning fishing sessions when inspiration strikes. The orchards are producing real fruit. The gardens are growing real vegetables. And yes, even those chickens are laying real eggs. This represents the new generation of celebrity farming combining agricultural production with luxury living. Drake's created his own ecosystem here, a place where he can escape the spotlight while still living like the superstar he is. From the recording studio hidden in one of the outbuildings to the massage studio for post-tour recovery, every inch of these 313 acres is designed for the perfect balance of work, play, and agricultural production. More than just a ranch, it's a statement that says you can take the rapper out of the city, but you can't take the luxury out of the rapper. 6. Jeff Bezos' Corn Ranch. Jeff Bezos owns roughly 462,000 acres, making him one of the top private landowners in the U.S. The bulk of his holdings, more than 460,000 acres, surround the Corn Ranch north of Van Horn, Texas. But forget typical cattle operations. This block of land serves as Blue Origin spaceport. The 165,000-acre plot of land was purchased by Jeff Bezos in 2004. The rest of his holdings sprawl across the surrounding counties, creating a massive buffer zone for rocket testing. Now known as Corn Ranch, the property has grown to 400,000 acres and is the launch site for Blue Origin, the aerospace company Bezos started in 2000. This is where the future meets the frontier. The land is so vast you can launch rockets without bothering the neighbors because there aren't any for miles. Starting in 2004, just 3 years after Amazon turned its first profit, Bezos purchased 150,000 acres of land, including the 30,000-acre Figure 2 Ranch. The man who revolutionized online shopping decided his next frontier was actual space, and he needed Texas-sized land to do it. Today, Bezos owns more than 420,000 acres across the United States, making him the largest private landowner in that corner of Texas. Picture it nearly 500,000 acres of desert, mountains, and wide open spaces where rockets roar to life and push the boundaries of human exploration. To put it plainly, he owns more land than Los Angeles and Chicago combined. Beyond land ownership, this is building the infrastructure for humanity's next chapter, all on a ranch that would leave those old Texas ranchers speechless. 5. Bill Gates' agricultural empire. Bill Gates owns 275,000 acres of U.S. farmland, which makes him the nation's largest private farmland owner. Forget software, Gates is now in the business of feeding America, and he's doing it on a scale that's hard to comprehend. Much of Gates's acreage was bought in huge tranches, including a group of farmland assets owned by the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board that was acquired in 2017, and the 2018 acquisition of the 100 Circles acreage in the Horse Heaven Hills of eastern Washington. Those two purchases alone total an investment of more than $690 million in farmland assets. No hobby farming here, this is industrial-scale agriculture with a high-tech twist. His 14,500-acre potato farm in Washington, big enough to be seen from space, is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Yes, you read that right, visible from orbit. One of his most prominent properties, 100 Circle Farms in Washington state, grows the spuds that supply McDonald's. Every time you eat McDonald's fries, there's a chance they came from Gates's land. According to the report, it is used to grow soybeans, corn, cotton, carrots, rice, and onions. The portfolio reads like America's grocery list: North Louisiana, 70,000 acres where farmers grow soybeans, rice, corn, and cotton. Nebraska, 20,000 acres primarily dedicated to soybean cultivation. To put it into perspective, if all of Gates's land was in one place, it would cover about 25% of Rhode Island. This is precision agriculture meets massive scale, using data, technology, and the best farming practices to maximize production on 250,000 acres of America's finest farmland. 4. Oprah Winfrey's Maui farm and more. The Queen of Media doesn't just own one farm, she's assembled a collection of agricultural properties that spans from Hawaii to California. While her individual properties might be smaller than some on this list, her total agricultural footprint and influence in sustainable farming is massive. Oprah and Bob, longtime friend and co-investor, hope to help change that. In Hawaii, where roughly 90% of its food is imported from the mainland, Oprah's working to change the game. Her properties aren't just for show, they're part of a larger mission to revolutionize how Hawaii feeds itself. Located in Montecito, California, Oprah Winfrey's Seamare Farm spans 23 acres and is a picturesque estate featuring lush gardens, equestrian facilities, and a charming farmhouse. Winfrey purchased the property in 2016 to complement her larger Montecito estate. But that's just the California operation. The ranch has a rich history, having been established as a horse breeding farm in the mid-20th century. Oprah has transformed it into a sanctuary for her horses and a space for personal reflection. Between her Maui farms focusing on local food production and her California properties dedicated to equestrian excellence, Oprah's agricultural empire is about quality, sustainability, and showing that farming can be both productive and beautiful. Anecdotes include her describing the farm as her place of peace where she meditates and cultivates fresh produce. This is farming with intention, every acre planned, every crop purposeful, every animal cared for, with the attention you'd expect from someone who built a media empire on authenticity and excellence. 3. Stan Kroenke's ranch empire. Stan Kroenke owns approximately 1.76 million acres of ranch land in several states and ranks number 4 on the 2025 Land Report 100. The man who owns the LA Rams also owns enough land to rival some small countries, and his crown jewel is a piece of Texas history. Kroenke Ranch's largest deeded holding is the Wagoner Ranch in Texas, which spans approximately 560,000 acres. With 6 horses and 242 head of longhorn cattle, a 21-year-old Dan Wagoner established Wagoner Ranch in 1849 in Wise County, Texas. This ranch predates most states west of the Mississippi. It has about 14,000 cows and bulls, as well as 500 horses. It also includes a 367 megawatt wind farm, 30,000 acres of arable land, and about 1,100 producing oil wells. Beyond ranching, this is an entire economy. The wind farm alone could power a small city, And those oil wells have been pumping Texas tea for over a century. The historic transaction will be the first ever sale of the Wagoner Ranch, which was established in 1849, spans 6 Texas counties, and covers almost 800 square miles. The ranch's asking price was $725 million, making it one of the most expensive ranch sales in history. His large swaths of real estate in Wyoming, Montana, Arizona, Texas, and British Columbia, Canada, are operated as working cattle ranches. His Q Creek Land and Livestock Company in south central Wyoming, which has grown to more than 550,000 acres, represents the largest contiguous ranch in the Rocky Mountains. When you combine all his holdings, Kroenke isn't playing cowboy. He's running one of the largest agricultural operations in North America. This is ranching at a scale that would make the pioneers of the Old West tip their hats in respect. 2. John Malone's 2.2 million acres. Malone owns approximately 2.2 million acres, making him one of the largest private landowners in America. The cable cowboy didn't just revolutionize telecommunications, he's assembled a land empire that stretches from coast to coast. In total, he owns 2.2 million acres of U.S. cropland, ranch land, and woodland, all of which have a combined area that's approximately 3 times the size of Rhode Island. Think about that 3 Rhode Islands. That's not a ranch, that's a kingdom. Billionaire media mogul John Malone plans to buy more than 900,000 acres of forest land in Maine and New Hampshire, just one of his massive acquisitions. Malone bought the 290,000-acre Bell Ranch in New Mexico in 2010 for a reported $65 million. Each purchase is strategic, building a portfolio of land that includes everything from timber operations to cattle ranching. His property not only ranges from the woodlands of Maine, he is said to own 5% of the state to ranches in Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. In Maine alone, his holdings are so vast, they affect the state's economy. Malone has described his weakness for land as a virus he caught from Ted Turner. The man approaches land acquisition like he approached building Liberty Media, strategically, relentlessly, and with an eye for value others miss. Basically, for my whole life, all my assets have been tied up in the companies I've started and run, says Malone. Now, those assets are tied up in land that will outlast any corporation, producing timber, cattle, and agricultural products for generations to come. 1. Ted Turner's 2 million acre empire. With approximately 2 million acres of personal and ranch land, Ted Turner is one of the largest individual landholders in North America. The man who founded CNN didn't just change media, he's become the modern era's greatest land conservationist and bison rancher. Mr. Turner owns 13 ranches located in 6 states: Colorado, Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, South Dakota. Each one is massive in its own right. Vermejo is the jewel of northern New Mexico. Its snow-capped alpine tundra, 19 fishable lakes, and over 550,000 stunning acres. That's just one of his properties. But here's what sets Turner apart. The Turner bison herd across 13 ranches is comprised of approximately 45,000 bison, which is the largest private herd in the world. Turner didn't just buy land, he brought back the American bison from near extinction. Mr. Turner purchased his first bison in 1976 and his first ranch in 1987. I think we may have been one of the first, if not the first ranch in the West to lay out a welcome mat for wolves, Turner said. More than ranching, this is ecosystem restoration on an unprecedented scale. 2 million acres of personal and ranch land innovatively managed, partnering economic viability with ecological sustainability. Turner still controls nearly 400,000 acres of land in Nebraska alone, and his total empire spans from the Great Plains to the Southwest. Through Ted Turner Reserves, visitors can now experience these incredible landscapes while supporting conservation efforts. At 2 million acres, Turner hasn't just assembled the largest celebrity farm empire, he's proven that conservation and profitable ranching can work hand in hand, setting the standard for land stewardship in the 21st century. From Blake Shelton's Oklahoma hideaway to Turner's 2 million acre conservation empire, these celebrity landowners aren't just buying farms, they're reshaping American agriculture. Whether it's Gates feeding the nation, Bezos launching rockets, or Turner saving the buffalo, these modern land barons prove that with enough vision and capital, you can own a piece of America bigger than some states. Want more stories about the titans who are literally buying up America? Hit that subscribe button and we'll keep bringing you the inside story on who owns what and why it matters. Because in America, land isn't just power, it's legacy.